I never thought I'd become the villain in my own neighborhood thriller. But when you buy your dream home in a quiet suburban cul-de-sac, only to find it's ruled by a petty tyrant disguised as an HOA president, sometimes you have to fight fire with fireworks. Let me take you back to how it all started. The nightmare next door that turned into my sweet revenge. It was spring of 2023 when my wife, Lena, and I moved into Willow Creek Estates. We'd scraped together every penny for this place. A cozy 3-bedroom with a backyard big enough for our 2 kids to run wild, and a garden I'd always dreamed of tending. The neighborhood looked perfect, manicured lawns, friendly waves from porches, kids on bikes. But on moving day, as we unloaded boxes, a silver SUV pulled up and out stepped Karen Whitaker, the HOA president. She was all smiles at first, clipboard in hand, welcoming us with a basket of stale muffins and a thick packet of rules. "Welcome to Willow Creek," she chirped, her eyes scanning our U-Haul, like it was smuggling contraband. "I'm Karen, and we keep things pristine here. No visible trash cans, no holiday lights past January 15th, and absolutely no vegetable gardens in the front yard. We're a community of standards." I laughed it off, thinking it was just overzealous neighborhood pride. Lena and I were excited. We planted tomatoes and herbs in the back, hung a swing from the old oak tree, and even painted our front door a cheerful blue. Nothing flashy, just a pop of color. But 2 weeks later, the first violation notice arrived in the mail. $50 fine for unauthorized door color alteration. Apparently, blue wasn't on the approved palette. We repainted it beige, grumbling but compliant. Little did I know, that was just the appetizer. Karen's reign of terror escalated quickly. She patrolled the streets like a sheriff in a bad western, her SUV creeping by at dusk. Our next-door neighbor, old Mr. Hargrove, whispered warnings over the fence. "She's got spies everywhere." Last year, she fined the Millers into foreclosure over a bird feeder. I brushed it off until it hit home. One evening, after a long day at my IT job, I came back to find our kids' bikes chained to the porch with a note. "Improper storage, $100 fine." The bikes were leaned against the garage, out of sight. I stormed to Karen's house, heart pounding, but she just smirked from her doorway. "Rules are rules, Alex. Pay up or face liens." The fines piled up like autumn leaves. A Halloween decoration stayed up one day too long, $75. Our dogs barked during a backyard barbecue, $50 for noise disturbance. Even though it was 2 p.m. on a Saturday, Lena started having anxiety attacks. The kids asked why we couldn't play outside without whispering. I dug into the HOA bylaws, poring over them at night, but they were a labyrinth of vague clauses designed to empower Karen and her cronies on the board, mostly her golf buddies who rubber-stamped everything. The breaking point came that fall. We'd saved for a small shed in the backyard to store tools and toys, something to keep the yard tidy. We submitted the plans as required, but Karen rejected them. Aesthetic incompatibility. I appealed at the next HOA meeting, a tense gathering in the community center where residents sat like scared school kids. I stood up, voice shaking with frustration. "This is our home. We're not building a skyscraper, just a shed for our family." Karen leaned back in her chair, her lips curling into a predatory smile. "Mr. Rivera, perhaps if you understood community values better." Denied. And for speaking out of turn, that's a $200 fine. That night, rage boiled in my chest. Lena cried in bed, whispering, "We should just sell." But I couldn't. This wasn't about a shed. It was about power. Karen had turned our dream into a prison, abusing her position to bully anyone who didn't bow. I learned from Hargrove that she'd embezzled HOA funds for her own lawn service, but no one dared challenge her. The board elections were rigged, proxies lost, votes miscounted. I felt helpless, but then, in the dark, an idea sparked. I was an IT guy. I knew data, systems, vulnerabilities. If Karen wanted war, I'd bring the digital cavalry. I started small, anonymous. I created a fake email and tipped off the local newspaper about HOA irregularities. No bite, so I dug deeper. Using public records, tax filings, meeting minutes, I uncovered discrepancies. Thousands in dues funneled to Karen's brother's landscaping company, unreported. But evidence wasn't enough. I needed exposure. I set up a neighborhood Facebook group under a pseudonym, Willow Creek Watch, posting scanned docs and stories from intimidated residents. Whispers turned to comments. She fined me for my mailbox. My car was towed for a flat tire. Karen fought back viciously. She doxed suspected posters, sent cease and desist letters via her lawyer nephew. One night, our front yard was vandalized, plants uprooted, troublemaker spray painted on the garage. The police shrugged. No proof. My blood ran hot, but I stayed the course. I rallied allies in secret. Hargrove, the Millers, who'd moved but still owned property, a dozen others. We gathered affidavits, photos of her selective enforcement. Her own yard had unapproved solar lights, but no fines. The climax hit at the annual HOA election in December. Karen strutted in, confident as ever. But I'd hacked the system, not literally, but smartly. I'd encouraged every resident to attend in person, no proxies. As votes were cast, I stood and presented our dossier, emails, bank statements, witness statements. This isn't governance, it's extortion. The room erupted. Karen's face drained of color as murmurs turned to shouts. Is this true? We've been robbed. She tried to gavel it down, screaming about slander, but it was too late. A board member defected, confirming the embezzlement. The election swung, new board, Karen ousted. But revenge wasn't complete. We filed a class action lawsuit with the evidence, backed by a pro bono lawyer from the group. The court ruled in our favor, $150,000 in restitution, distributed to residents. Karen's house went into foreclosure. She moved away in disgrace, her SUV towed for improper parking in her own driveway as a final ironic twist. Today, Willow Creek is ours again. We elected a fair board, relaxed the rules, even planted a community garden. Lena laughs freely. The kids bike without fear. I look at our blue door, repainted triumphantly, and feel a surge of pride. It wasn't easy. The stress aged me, tested our marriage. But standing up to that bully, it was worth every fine. If you're in an HOA hell, remember, knowledge is power, unity is strength, and sometimes revenge is the sweetest neighborly gesture.